Hey guys, Jill here from Ask Vet Tech. Today we're going to talk about kitten vaccines. Are they necessary? Let's get into it. Why do we need vaccines to begin with? Have you ever been so sick that you need to go to the doctor for medication? If you could avoid going to the doctor because you didn't actually get sick, would you? Yes, you would, because it'd make your life a lot better. That's what vaccines do. Vaccines, a substance used to stimulate the immunity to a particular infectious disease or pathogen, typically prepared from an inactive or weakened form of the causative agent, or from its constituents or products. What all does that actually mean? So basically, a vaccine is given to your pet at a certain time frame to make sure that they are going to build up their own antibodies to fight these diseases that they could come in contact with. And there are different types of vaccines. There are core vaccines, which are absolutely recommended by your veterinarian. And then there's what they call non-core or a lifestyle choice vaccine. We're going to dive into both of them. Let's just start from the beginning. A kitten is born into the world. They have a bunch of mom's antibodies, and those are stored up in their body, but they only last for so long because whatever mom was protected against, the kitten is also protected against from the maternal transfer. At 6 weeks of age, the kitten starts to lose mom's antibodies, so they become super susceptible to everything that the world has to offer, germs, diseases, and viruses. At this point, at 6 weeks of age, you should bring your kitten in for a physical exam to make sure that they're okay physically and that they are going to be protected from not only viruses, but parasites, internal and external. So the first vaccine I want to talk about is called the FVRCP. It is a combination vaccine that protects your cat against the herpes virus, calicivirus, and panleukopenia. This vaccine starts at 6 weeks and it goes on until your cat is about 16 weeks, every 3 to 4 weeks after the first vaccine. So why do we want this vaccine? The herpes virus causes a terrible eye infection and upper respiratory infections, and it can just continue to reinfect your pet. Calicivirus can be very contagious. It's upper respiratory in nature, but it also causes terrible ulcers in their mouth, causing weight loss because they don't want to eat. Panleukopenia, feline parvovirus, causes diarrhea, vomiting, and fever. The next core vaccine that I want to talk about is rabies. Rabies is a fatal viral disease that is zoonotic to us people. It can be transferred via bite wound or by saliva. This vaccine needs to be done at 16 weeks. It is the most important vaccine in my opinion because I don't want rabies and neither do you because it is fatal. If you get rabies, you die. A lot of people worry that getting the rabies vaccine for their pet can give them rabies, but it is a killed virus, meaning that the substrate that's in the vaccine is a killed virus of rabies. There's no chance of it becoming a live virus because it is killed. So now that we've covered the core vaccines, let's talk about the lifestyle vaccine. FELV. It's a leukemia vaccine. This is considered a lifestyle vaccine. They don't get cancer right out the get-go if they get leukemia. It is more like a virus that suppresses the immune system, not once, but over and over and over, causing infection, and that weakened immune system can lead to cancer. There is no treatment for leukemia, and it is a super nasty disease. Now, kittens should not get this vaccine if they have not been tested for to find out if they are positive for leukemia. If they've been exposed prior to vaccinating, it's not going to protect them. There is a simple blood test that we can do in the office that tests to see if your cat has been exposed to feline leukemia, feline AIDS, or even heartworm disease. We recommend doing this test between 6 and 12 weeks of age. The reason why is they usually haven't been outside a lot at that point to come into contact with another pet that has these viruses. There is another disease that I want to talk about, and it's FIV, or feline immunodeficiency virus, and that is basically kitty AIDS. There is no vaccine available for this at this time. There used to be, but because of associated risks with this vaccine, it was taken off the market. Now let's talk about this schedule real quick. I kind of jumped around a bit there. So at 6 weeks of age, between 6 and 8 weeks, your first FVRCP vaccine should be given. As they grow, a booster will be given every 3 to 4 weeks after that. The FELV vaccine needs a 2-booster series. You can start it as early as 9 to 10 weeks of age and second booster around 12 to 16 weeks. The rabies vaccine is a 16-week vaccine. I recommend waiting until the 16th week to get that. 16 weeks is an important timeline so that you made sure that your vaccines were spaced out appropriately, and at the 16-week mark, that's the date of your last vaccine. So from this date, 1 year from now, we're going to revisit these vaccines and booster everything that we've done, and that way we continue along with the protection, keeping your pet safe. Now, are there risks associated with vaccines? Yes, there's always some risk of adverse reaction with vaccines. It's not generally the vaccine that causes the reaction. It is how your pet's body has responded to the vaccine. Some kittens will display some common side effects such as lethargy, kind of off their food for a day or so, maybe a fever. The fever is a great sign. It means the immune system is engaged and it's doing its job making antibodies to protect your cat. Now, with that being said, those are my milder symptoms. Now, vomiting or having a really hard time walking around or being dizzy or something like that, or if you notice hives or bumps on their body as you're petting them, facial swelling, this could be a severe reaction and you need to call your veterinarian right away. Consider your options versus risks of ever vaccinating again if they have a serious reaction. Now, I would not be doing my job if I didn't tell you about one last problem that can happen from vaccines. It's very rare, but we're doing everything in our power to avoid having this happen. A feline injection site sarcoma is basically a tumor that develops at the site of the injection. It is a malignant tumor, and it can spread very quickly. It invades all the local tissue around it, and it is associated with the Feline Leukemia vaccine, and rarely the rabies vaccine. It can require surgery or limb amputation. If your cat does develop this, they should never be vaccinated again for anything. How do we minimize the risk of injection site sarcomas? Well, we only use purified vaccines now. They have been purified down to get all the junk out of them. And we pick a site to give it every single time. In our clinic, we would use the very lower portion of the left leg. And some vets will even inject in the tail. And that is because if there were to become an injection site sarcoma, that area can be amputated very easily. And if an amputation surgery has to happen, we're at much better odds of getting all of the tumor. Now the next thing we got to talk about is the cost. It also covers the relationship and the physical exam that you get from your veterinarian. You can talk about parasite control, planning a spay and neuter at that point. There's a lot of things that going to the vet to get your vaccines helps out with. Now, if cost is an issue, there are a lot of places that offer low-cost vaccines. Shelters often do a low-cost vaccine. Feed stores are now doing mobile vaccine clinics. Just know that the rabies vaccine must be given by a veterinarian. Sometimes pet insurance can cover the vaccines. Make sure you look into that at your first vet appointment. Now that you're armed with all this information, please take the steps as a new kitten owner to seriously help your cat out and give them the longest, healthiest life they can. If you do have any questions or concerns or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. Remember, I'm here for you. You're here for your pet. Have a great day.